Welcome to Crafting a Country Life. I'm Andrea. I'm here to share a project that I actually just finished in the past day or so. This is a journal that I put together, and I will be using this as an art journal. And I actually had started this back in the fall, but then I put it aside for a while I was working on some Christmas crafting. And so just this past week, I've been just wrapping up the last little bits of putting the signatures together on this and also creating the cover of the journal. So I will share that when I started this project, knowing that I wanted to use it as an art journal, but I wanted it to have a junk journal feel to it with kind of a shabby chic look and with lots of vintage ephemera. But there were some parameters that I really wanted to stick with. And as an artist, some of the things that I know about my own sketchbooks are that I love to have them lay flat when they're open, when I'm working in them with my pens and inks and pencils and pens and so on. The first thing is, yes, they have to lay flat. And the second thing is that there needs to be room on the pages to draw and write. And there needs to be a surface that's fairly flat on each page so that when you're drawing, you're not being interrupted with too many layers of, fabrics and textural items underneath the other pages. So with that in mind, I started to create. And what I ended up doing was giving this a spine. And I've tied the signatures in with cording. You can see 3 layers of cording here. And on the inside of the spine is where the signatures are attached into the book. So we'll take off the ribbon. And this is just some undyed muslin that I did some rubber stamping on to create this ribbon after I tore it into strips. So you can kind of see what that looks like. And the cover is made out of grocery bags that have been crumpled up and flattened and then folded underneath on the edge to give the edge of the book a little bit more substance to it. So after that, I crumpled up some more paperweight cardstock. So this is very, very light cardstock, and it's really not cardstock, it's more of a paper, but it has a vintage feel to it. So that was crumpled up and then laid over the grocery bag and glued down. And the entire inside of the book is covered with that same paper, and I ran out of it on the back inside cover, so I just tore a different color and glued that on top. Okay, and then the outer cover is antiqued muslin, and by that I mean that I sprayed it with a tea solution. I soaked the tea leaves, squeezed out the leaves, and then just sprayed with a spray bottle to give sort of an aged look to the muslin. Okay, so on top of that, on the front cover here, I've sewn some strips of old bed sheeting that I picked up when I was thrifting. So those were just torn and then stitched. This is actually the hem of one of those sheets. So I kept the hem intact, and then I just tore the edge of the sheet along, and then I zigzagged it onto the cover of the journal. And then there's some other fabric bits that have been frayed and stitched on with a zigzag stitch, and then I added some flat cardstock ephemera pieces. I think these are all Tim Holtz brand ephemeras. And then some paper that I had sprayed with mica mist, and then did some stitching on it and added some buttons and a little ephemera piece, vintage ephemera piece here. So that's the cover, and the edges of the muslin are just torn. You can see they're slightly frayed. Okay, so the spine itself has a thin layer of boxboard just to give it a little bit of stiffness. I did not put boxboard on the cover at all. It's still somewhat flexible, which is good. Okay, so then on the top here, after I finished stitching the spine cording in, I used a bulb pin You can see here I added some seed beads to it and a ribbon clamp, this little gold ribbon clamp, and then I have some different types of ribbon that I've encased within that. And that's just attached with a gold jump ring, which you can see right here. So I initially had a larger beaded charm on here, but it was just too much. So I took it off and I put this slightly smaller one on. I think it looks better with this size of a sketchbook. Okay, so then when you open up the cover, there are 3 signatures. Let me show you right here. There's one here. Okay, here's the first signature. And then I've done stitching along that as well, and some decorative edging, and then I did some rubber stamping over here, and I added a little bit of stickers in here and there throughout the signatures. And then these are held in place. The signatures are tied with cording on the inside, and then they're just slipped into the cording that creates the spine on the front is continued on the back of the spine, and then the signatures are just slipped into the cording to hold them in place. So we'll just do a little flip through here. The first signature. Okay. Turn the page. I treated these pages with a variety of different things. I used some tea staining that I sprayed on and sponged on. I did, again, some ephemera here and there with glue, and then some rubber stamping. This is a sheet of organza. It's like an organza overlay, kind of a shimmery, sparkly organza that just goes over this ledger page, which has been sprayed with gold spray mist. And then there's an ephemera bit down on the bottom. You flip the page. There's some washi tape on the left, more staining. And I do have several colors of the glimmery mist. I have different brands, different varieties that I've picked up over the years, so I just used those to treat the pages before I cut them and created the signatures. And here there's some little bit of cotton lace just stitched onto the edge, and a little index tab that I punched out using my Big Shot machine. This paper on this side has been painted with a metallic wash, metallic watercolor wash, over a pink and black paper. And then again, more metallic paints washed over some of these paperweight papers. Here's some ephemera tucked into this little tuck spot here. And then some more stamping, some machine stitching along the side edge here. I don't know how well that shows up on the camera, but. And then a little bit more stamping. That's the next layout. Some vintage music paper, and some more paper that's been coffee stained here. Okay, the next page, again, coffee staining and tea staining, and then I took some of that same bed sheet that I used on the cover of the journal, and I edged it with some lace and glued it in place. So this pocket can be used to add some ephemera bits or journaling notes or drawings or whatever have you. Okay, turn the page, some more stamping on this layout, and another tuck spot on the right hand side here. More papers. This was spray painted with some watercolor wash that I kind of brushed on there, and then added some glimmer mist in a spray bottle. Little machine stitching, some more stamping. And there's plenty of space on these pages to add different drawing and painting media. I wanted the pages basically blank so that they could be embellished and drawn on. So there's not a lot of extra, ephemera bits that you find in some journals. This is a small bit of fabric that I tore and did some rubber stamping on, and then just stapled it onto the edge. It's like an index tab. Cotton lace, old book pages that have been sprayed and decorated up. Some more washi tape here. Some more fabric along the edge. Okay, and then some vellum. This is a vellum tip-in that I secured with washi tape. And a little bird stamped on this one. And that's the end of the first signature. Okay, and the second signature is a little paper clip with some ribbon on it. A fabric piece that's been stitched into place on my sewing machine. And this was this paper was painted with a silver metallic watercolor wash. And some more fabric stitched along the edge with a little tuck-in spot here. Right there. An old postcard. Another tip-in. An old catalog page that I did a little bit of white gesso over to kind of kick back the color a bit so that you could still do artwork over it and not have it compete with the background printing. And again here, there's some metallic ribbon along the edge here. So we'll flip through these a little quicker. All the same kinds of materials, just in different colors, some map pages, a pretty little fussy cut of an old sheet. Here, I just fussy cut around the edge and then glued it into place and added Darling over here. A little tag stamp, label stamp here. This paper has been crumpled up and then sprayed with tea stain. Some more gesso over some embellishing with cardstock ephemera bits. Okay, page with some more gesso. A few little rubber stamp just to hold some interest on the pages as you turn. And then some more vellum over here on the right-hand side. Some more map pages with glitter dust spray on them. More old book pages with tip-ins. There we go. Another index tab. And then this is the last page of the second signature. And then the last signature here says Inspire along the edge. And again, similar techniques, rubber stamping and some tea staining and glitter spray. More painting over book pages to kind of kick back the print a little bit so that you can still draw and paint and glue things on top. Little tip in. Some glitter netting overlay here. And then another page that's been painted with some gold paint over it. More ephemera, stitching, stamping, another little pocket of old sheeting, silver metallic wash on top of a black paperweight cardstock, and then some gesso that was tinted with pink paint. Okay, and this page has a little folder in the center that's been tea stained again, and here I just dipped the bottom of a glass into the tea stain and kind of stamped it onto the paper. Excuse me. A little bit of glitter ribbon. There's pockets on the inside here to tuck things into. Let's flip through this a little quicker here. Another tip in on this side. I love this page with the splatter. I sprinkled a little bit of salt on top of the tea stain that I sprayed on here, and it kind of gave sort of a gravelly look to it. And some cotton lace, some more washi on the right-hand side. And some washi here. And the pages are all different sizes, so that adds some more interest. Tip-ins and washi tape. Another index tab. And that is the end of the third signature. And here's the back of the book. I left that plain and just, again, repeated the edging with the old sheeting. This cotton is so soft. It's been washed so many times. It's a little bit faded. Really pretty. Okay, and then flip this back around front. And we can tie the bow. And I really enjoyed this project. And just trying to keep it within the parameters that I set for myself to be a functional sketchbook, but also pretty, it took a little bit of thought, a little bit of time to come up with that. And I wanted it interesting enough so that it wasn't too plain to just flip through. But I think it'll be fun to really add some beautiful art journaling inside this. And that's going to really make it sing, I think, once it's filled with personal drawings and sketches and notes and stuff. So I hope you enjoyed watching my video. And I enjoyed creating this so much. I really think I'm going to try making some more of these, maybe for different holidays or seasons, and try to keep within the theme of whatever it is that I'm, trying to work towards to create this message. Here, it definitely says vintage and botanical, I think, and has kind of an inspiring feel to it. So I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you again back sometime soon on Crafting a Country Life. Take care. Bye for now.